Hello, I'm Dominic Walker, JMW's Inside Man. My guest is Lakmal Walawage. Lakmal is an Associate Solicitor within JMW's Intellectual Property Department. Great to have you on the Inside Man, Lakmal. So we've seen in recent times sports clubs using NFTs and NFTs in the arts world as well. What is an NFT to start off with, and what's it got to do with intellectual property?
Yeah, of course. No, thanks for having me back on, Dominic. Good to be back on Inside Man. And yeah, like you say, it's just a hot topic right now, isn't it? Everyone's talking about NFTs. People pay millions of dollars for NFTs. You know, think about the tweet that got sold by Jack Dorsey for over 2.6 million USD. It's literally a tweet. What it means, it's a non-fungible token. That means it's not exchangeable in the same way that, for example, other blockchain technologies are, like the cryptocurrencies. And the law is really kind of struggling with NFTs, as with a lot of sort of technology and IP areas, is playing catch up to the technology. Technology moves too fast for the law. So there's a lot of questions. There are questions about whether creating an unauthorized NFT can even constitute copyright infringement, because this is the World Intellectual Property Organization putting out a statement in December saying we don't know if it constitutes copyright infringement, because when you mint an NFT, you don't make a copy of the work. All you're creating is a blockchain ledger saying, I sold the work to this and this person. So it's difficult in copyright law to say that an unauthorized NFT is a reproduction of an underlying copyright work, and that's what you need for copyright infringement. So with all of these difficulties, what we see is that people are going to have to come up, at least currently, with outside ingenious ways to protect their work and come up with a strategy really about protecting, whatever assets they're purchasing.
You mentioned that word protection. So how do people in the sports world and in the arts world protect themselves in relation to NFTs?
So really it's about conducting that due diligence, getting someone who knows to ask the questions that need to be asked at that point, and then drafting the relevant agreements for that, whether that's in a smart contract built into the NFT and is self-fulfilling, or whether that's an agreement outside of all of that. You will need either an assignment of the IP rights, mainly the copyright, in the NFT, or an exclusive license to that. And definitely, it's important to think about whether you have the right to be in proceedings, because if you've bought an NFT for upwards of 2 million and someone's copied it, you don't want to have to be at the mercy of the NFT minter to be able to take proceedings, because otherwise you would need their consent and they need to be brought into proceedings and all of that. So those are some of the things to think about. And from the NFT minters side, they need to make sure if they're selling NFTs that they have the rights to do so, which is ownership of the underlying copyright asset or a license specifically saying that they can do that.
And Lakmal, in the social media world, all of the attention in recent times has sort of focused on the platforms. Could they be doing more? And I suppose in a sense, in the NFT world, it's the same. Can the platforms do more to prevent IP theft in the NFT world, stroke metaverse world?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the excitement surrounding NFTs has kind of meant that there's less attention to the detail that and the problems that could arise around it. And we've already seen there's a tool called OpenSea which allows you to create your own NFTs, and they've seen loads and loads of copies on there. They've dealt with it in the way that most platforms will deal with it in the near future. Is to utilize the existing IP policies and takedown processes that they use anyway. So if you see an infringing NFT on a platform, you'll report it using, I don't know, say Amazon's brand registry or eBay's bureau program, be led by legal professionals, because as this problem grows, it's not going to be satisfactory to have fake takedowns and ones that should have been taken down that don't work and all of that stuff. Because currently that's the way it is.
And if you'd like to speak to Lakmal and the intellectual property team about intellectual property related to NFTs, you can email insideman@jmw.co.uk or call 0161 82 81 999. I'm Dominic Walker, JMW's Inside Man.